Hi, this is David Chase Taylor. I'm reporting to you live from Zurich, Switzerland, where I've applied for asylum since the release of my book, The Nuclear Bible. All the information that I'm speaking to you today about is going to be live on truther.org and obamacsi.com. This is an all-points false flag terror warning regarding a false flag cyber terror attack that will likely be blamed on Iran. This attack will likely take place on Black Friday, which is November 25th, 2011, the busiest shopping day of the year. This is actually the 25th anniversary of the Iran-Contra scandal. This attack will likely be touted as a retaliation for this Israeli and US Stuxnet virus that was launched against Iran's nuclear program. This attack on Black Friday will likely target the financial sector of America, as well as travel hubs, airports, and that type of computer software that's used in traveling. In the news that I'm about to go into, credit card companies and different software companies have been targeted in past cyber attacks, and so it's likely that this will actually occur again. So let's just say this attack does happen. What's going to be the reaction? So people are going to be shopping on Black Friday. The credit card machines go down. I mean, 95% of transactions now are digital, so people are going to be unable to purchase goods and services with their credit cards. They're going to run to the banks to get money out. The banks will empty out of money within the first few minutes, if not less, and there's going to be a run on the bank. Eventually, this could lead to a panic, and when Wall Street opens, all these corporate chains will have lost millions, if not billions of dollars with being unable to sell their products. The reports regarding cyber terrorism from the US government have stated that cyber terrorism will likely come along with regular regular terror attacks, so it could be a cocktail of terror attacks at the same time. This would obviously attack the US economy, which is on its last leg right now, so it would be devastating for America. Like I said, all this information is at obamacsi.com and truther.org, and you can go on to the website. We have all the whole buildup of the cybersecurity. We have all the drills. We have everything regarding that, and I'll get into a little bit more later. But let's just look at the last 6 weeks or so leading up to today, which the news regarding cyber terror attacks. But first, to jump back to 2007, the U.S. government, in their report entitled Terrorist Capabilities for Cyber Attack, they state that the attack would seriously disrupt the U.S. economy, and that it would basically be parceled with other terror attacks. So basically they say that the only way for a terror attack to really hurt the U.S. would be if it involved the economy. And as we know, the busiest shopping day of the year is possibly a target. From Computer World, September 7th, 2011, it says, 10 years after 9/11, cyber attacks pose a national threat, committee says. Lee Hamilton and Thomas Keane of the 9/11 Commission report state that catastrophic cyber terror attacks to U.S. critical infrastructure targets are not a mere theoretical threat. Quote unquote, this is not science fiction. It is possible to take down cyber systems and trigger cascading, disrupting, and damage descending the U.S. against such attacks must be an urgent priority. Excuse me. And quote, successive intelligence chiefs have warned that cyber threat is critical to infrastructure systems, to electrical, financial, water, energy, food supply, military, telecommunications. It is a grave threat. Let's see. Getting into these headlines really quick from Fox News, September 12th. Study, U.S. must bolster security against cyber attacks. Computer Weekly, September 15th. Cyber attacks are becoming lethal, warns U.S. cyber commander. Quote, that's our concern about what's coming into cyberspace, a destructive element. Pentagon to help defend cyber networks, Fox News, September 26th. Cyber actually can bring us to our knees. That's a quote from Mike Mullen, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Cyber attacks mounting fast in U.S. September 30th, 2011, CBS News. October 11th, from the Register, VeriSign demands website takedown powers, so they want to censor the internet in the wake of an attack. U.S. and Israel launch new phase of cyber warfare from InfoWars. So basically, simultaneously, while they're saying that attacks are going to be happening, the United States and Israel is launching cyber warfare at the same time. So if an attack happens at the United States, it could be viewed as retaliatory. And then on October 26, 2011, a rogue websites bill introduced into the U.S. House. So basically, any website that features user-generated content or enables cloud-based data storage could end up in the crosshairs. Basically, this is to shut down the internet, any free speech websites. ABC News, loss of life in major computer attack, warns Homeland Security Chief. The network intrusion that shuts down the nation's critical infrastructure could cause loss of life, but also a huge economic loss, Napolitano said. We've seen attempts on Wall Street, transportation systems, things of those sorts. Tector, the non-existing cyber war is nothing more than a push for more government control. That's obvious. David Cameron, the Prime Minister of England, recently stated on November 1st, 2011, Cameron warns on internet crackdown from Press Association, fears of cyber attacks and rising online crime must not be excused for a heavy-handed crackdown on freedom of internet. Cameron stated, we cannot leave cyberspace open to the criminals and the terrorists that threaten our security and prosperity, but at the same time we cannot go down the heavy-handed route. And on November 2nd, 2011, the French nuclear power company was hit by a cyber attack. That's from eSecurity Planet. The UK government warns of surge in cyber terror attacks. November 2nd. November 4th, the US and EU hold joint cyber security drill. It's called Cyber Atlantic 2011. It's, quote, to defend against attacks based on an advanced persistent threats, as well as a staged attack. So maybe that's what's coming. November 4th, 2011, DHS warns Anonymous may target critical infrastructure. And then 4 days later, Israel defense sector is hit by a cyber terror attack, which is the, quote, biggest computer crash in the history of Israel's online government, quote unquote. And, quote, the attack that the attacker said, your actions are illegal against democracy and human rights, international and maritime law. And, quote, if you continue blocking humanitarian vessels to Gaza, then you leave us no choice but to strike back again and again until you stop. So it's already being set up that these cyber terror attacks are going to be blamed on people that are against Israel's fascist Nazi policies towards Palestine. And Iran has always voiced support for the Palestinian people. November 8th, Brazil gets attacked by a cyber attack. On November 9th, 2011, net bandits made off with $14 million in fraudulent profits from a cyber attack. November 9th, from TechEye, U.S. wouldn't stand up to cyber attacks. If anyone in the axis of evil decides to attack the U.S., its critical systems would roll over in a matter of minutes. While the U.S. might be able to blow up a nuclear plant or a terrorist training center somewhere, a number of countries could strike back with a cyber attack and the U.S. economy would be crashed in retaliation. So this is where they're going with a crash of the U.S. economy. It's going to hit the financial sector for sure. From Fierce Finance, cyber attack threats continue to grow. And this is where they lump Wall Street occupiers, protesters with Anonymous, and they're saying that there may be some link in between the two. So it could be possible that Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street people could be blamed for this as well. Steam, a gaming software company, was hacked on November 11, 2011. From AOL Defense, from the U.S. Department of Defense, DoD, quote, pull the cyber war trigger if we have to. So they're all talking about this. Richard Clark, wrote a book called Cyber War, and he states because so many of them, including China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia, could retaliate by launching devastating cyber attacks that could destroy power grids, banking networks, or transportation systems. So they're all talking about banking, financial infrastructure. Alarm stems from cyber attack on Italian Jewish Facebook page. So from JTA News on November 13th, 2011. So again, Israelis are attacking themselves. What's new? From the Vancouver Sun, November 14, 2011, Canada puts up $477 million to foil cyber terror attacks. And Leon Pineda is quoted in this article stating that cyber is the battlefield of the future. So this could be the first cyber war that would be blamed on Iran. From November 15th, Washington Post, Pentagon offensive cyber attacks fair game. Significant cyber attacks directed at the U.S. economy, government, or military. So they're already talking about the potentiality of a war coming from a cyber attack. And a U.S. Title insurance firm lost $200,000, and they're suing Capital One, the credit card company, for allowing the cyber attack to occur. And so a lot of these attacks are happening to financial credit card agencies, which leads us to the direction that these may be targeted in the attack. On November 16th, 2011, Virginia cyber attack exposes more than 175,000 campus affiliates. So all this information from the university system was allegedly stolen in a cyber attack. November 16th, we are prepared to take military action against cyber attackers, warns U.S. defense chiefs. And they came out with a report that states significant cyber attacks directed against the U.S. economy, government, or military, and the response could use electronic means or more conventional military options. So they're basically getting the military ready that if a cyber attack happens, there's going to be a full-scale retaliation. November 16th, U.S. joins NATO's cyber facility in Estonia from the Sacramento Bee. November 18th, Norway hit by major cyber attack on oil defense industries. It's, quote, the most extensive data espionage in the country's history. At least 10 firms, perhaps more, have been targeted in the biggest wave of cyber attacks seen by the country. November 18th, BBC, boy arrested for a royal wedding cyber plot. So they're making this like somebody wanted to attack the prince and his wedding. November 19th from ABC News, next Osama bin Laden already has your social security number. Quote, a massive cyber attack on American infrastructure is the 21st century equivalent of the neutron bomb. And while this sounds pretty dire, it's quite likely some segments of this nation will at some time be shut down due to cyber attacks. Napolitano from the DHS stated that we've, quote, come close more than once, maybe several times, or maybe many times, to compromising critical segments of America's infrastructure. In particular, she mentioned the big banks and transportation systems, which is what I alluded to earlier at the beginning of this broadcast. Quote, I think we all have to be concerned about a network intrusion that shuts down part of the nation's infrastructure in such a fashion that it results in a loss of life. And, quote, millions of people were compromised when Sony, Citibank, and Department of Veterans Affairs and DOD were successfully breached. So here we have Citibank, we have Capital One, all these credit card companies being attacked. So November 21st, 2011, the first known cyber attack on a U.S. industrial system. It was an attack on a water plant in Illinois, Barack Obama's home state. So I'm sure he'll grandstand in the wake of this upcoming attack, that his home state was attacked. And this alleged attack on this Illinois plant came from Russia. But interestingly today, there's a news article that states that this was not a cyber attack. So I don't know exactly what's going on with this, but it was made the media, all over the media about how it was a cyber attack. November 21st, Financial Times, war game tests resilience to cyber attack. So basically in London, they're doing a massive war game regarding a cyber terror attack. And the war game that envisions two simultaneous problems: widespread travel disruptions and a major cyber attack. So the two of them have kind of been merged together, and that's probably what will be attacked in the future. London Underground to the failure of network of cash machines, or a combination of the two. So basically we have travel going down, and then we have cash machines, ATMs going down. So if this attack happens on Black Friday, everybody's shopping, they can't run their credit card, they're going to go get cash, and the cash ATMs won't work, and then it'll create a panic, which will create a run on the bank. So that's where this could be possibly heading. Cyber criminals attempt to hack into AT&T, no accounts compromised November 21st, 2011. AT&T was the target of an attack where cyber criminals attempted to access customer information by connecting phone numbers to online accounts. So online banking accounts? Who knows? November 21st, 2011, Department of Defense Cyberspace Policy Report. And I just read this whole thing, and basically I'm just going to highlight this. And this was released on November 21st, so just a couple days ago. And this is basically the U.S. plan in case they get attacked by a cyber terror attack. And they state, when warranted, we will respond to hostile acts in cyberspace as we would to any other threat to our country. All states possess an inherent right to self-defense, and we reserve the right to use all necessary means, diplomatic, informational, military, and economic, to defend our nation. And they state that the President has the right to respond using all necessary means to defend our nations, our allies, our partners, and our interests from hostile acts in cyberspace. Hostile acts may include significant cyber attacks directed at the U.S. economy, government, or military. And let's see here. The DoD recognizes the unique challenges presented by malicious activity coming from within the United States. So they're saying that it could come from within the United States, which is kind of funny because it probably will. And the department is dedicated to the protection of our nation and the privacy and liberties, civil liberties of our citizens. Oh, it's very nice of them. So they're going to take care of our civil liberties in the process by taking away the internet. And it says that the DoD has worked closely with its NATO allies over cyber issues, including the revised NATO cyber policy and associated action plan approved at the June 2011 ministerial. So basically they've been getting ready for something, and, quote, without question, some activities conducted in cyberspace could constitute a use of force and may well invoke a state's inherent right to lawful self-defense. So, and this responsibility lies with the Commander-in-Chief. So we have Barack Obama will make the decisions for war based on if they feel like we've been attacked by a cyber terror attack. Let's see here. November 26th, November 22nd, Voice of Russia, Japan's parliament came under a new attack. So at least 700 computers were hit by a virus. November 22nd, Defense Management, quote, outdated cyber defenses could be turned against us. And a couple more headlines from the Inquirer, November 22nd, 2011, UK banks simulate cyber terror attacks. Pentagon confirms military action is acceptable response to cyber terror attacks, November 22nd. And nervous London bankers run amok cyber attack exercise. Or, nervous London bankers run mock cyber attack exercise, November 22nd, the Register. So basically, just to wrap up really quick, we have, in the last 6 weeks, it's just been escalating at a furious pace. And on the website, we have Iran. On ObamaCSI.com, we have Iran as a scapegoat. You can look at all the things setting up with Iran, with the UN, stating that they're trying to develop nuclear weapons. And on the website, under cyber terror attack on ObamaCSI.com, we have all the latest breaking news, all the information I just read to you. All those articles will be posted with the links. We have the U.S. Congress Cyber Warfare Report you can read. We have all the latest information on the Duku virus, which is probably what's going to be used. We have information from Jay Rockefeller stating that the internet never should have been invented. We have the CIA cyber terrorism buildup and Israeli cyber terrorism buildup. They both the CIA and Israel have both constructed new not only agencies but institutions that are have been formed to conduct offensive cyber warfare, and they state that. And we have all the cyber terror drills, all the cyber terror warnings. all the thousands of military laptops that have been stolen both in the US and in the UK, and why this is all happening. This is happening to censor the internet. There's different bills that have been in Congress, like the Rogue Websites bill, as well as the Protect IP, which basically breaks the internet. So I'm just asking folks to check it out, check out the information, and forward it to media outlets, and just be aware of what could possibly come down the chain. If it doesn't happen on Black Friday, it's been set up to happen. So it's not like it's just this one day, Friday, that it could possibly happen. It's been set up over the last couple years, and it looks like it could happen anytime. Lastly, if you want to check out the websites, we have nuclearbible.com about the Super Bowl false flag nuke that was stopped in February of 2011, truther.org, as well as Obama CSI, which exposes the plot to assassinate Obama. And just to let you guys know, I've applied for asylum here in Switzerland based on the fallout from the book. And I would appreciate if you guys logged on to the websites and checked out the information and helped out any way you can. So signing out from Zurich, Switzerland, David Chase Taylor. Peace.